Alright, let's go ahead and start in our scene grid. Be sure you've opened it there. We're going to look at the fireball. This is going to be one that we kind of create as a spherical object that we can move around, have a little bit of a trail behind it, little small sparks and end pieces to go off of it. The fireball folder, you're going to notice you'll have the two textures. We'll have a texture for the main body of the fireball, and then we'll have one for the spark on it. Both are going to be set to the additive for the shader particle type. Alright, let's go ahead and get started with it then. We'll go to hierarchy and create. And just go ahead and click on the particle system. We'll go ahead and take it to 0, 0, 0. And then I'm going to take the position for the Y and just take it up to about 1. We want it a little bit above the ground. That way we're not looking at only half of the shape for it. Alright, so let's go ahead and go over to the right and click on our render rollout, and we'll replace the fireball material. We'll drop that into the material slot right there. Alright, for the fireball side of it, let's go ahead and the couple of elements we want to do. One, we'll take our duration down to 1 on here. When it comes to the lifetime that we're going to have for this one, it's only going to last for a second. We want it to be very short. And then for the speed, we want it to be at 0. We want it just to stay in one spot. So to stay at one spot, let's make sure we go ahead and turn off our shapes option. We just want it to be right there. Okay. Once you have that in place, then let's go ahead and do a start rotation and change the start rotation to the two constants, and we'll do the 0 to 360. There we go. So now we're going to have that rotation, so we're going to see the little edge starting to move around like this. Next thing we want to do is on the start color, let's go ahead and take the start color, and instead of being white, let's actually make this kind of an orangish tone. We'll make it feel like it's on fire type of feel. There we go. So we'll do, let's see if more or less, just kind of depends on where you want to go with it. If you want really yellow center, then you can go down through it there. If you want a little bit of a brighter center, then you can actually take it up a ways. I'm going to take mine, let's see, let's find a good spot for it here. Probably, we'll go for a little bit more of a yellowish tint. Right around there. Yeah, I'm going to go for about there. So for my color, it'll look like, let's see, we're going to take a little bit of the alpha out of it so it's a little bit faded. And actually, may take it up to brighten it there. There we go. So for this one, we'll probably go for about a 112, 68, 22, 166. Somewhere around there, and you may find that you like a different value. If you want to take it up and down, you may want a blue one, you may want a red one. Alright. So that'll be the color for us on this one. When it comes to gravity, when it comes to the velocity, those two we'll set it to 0. We're going to keep this one at local. We don't want this to be the trailing one. We just want it to be the one that stays in place when you move it. For the particle amount, we'll leave it at 1,000. The emission type that we have here, let's set this up to 20. We're just going to double the amount for it. There we go. So looking at that, let me double check here. I may want to take it up a little bit more. We'll see here. Somewhere around there. Hey, we're probably going to play with the color a little bit until I can get the right color going for it based on the outward effect that's going to be happening with it. So if you're following along to try to keep with the same color currently, we've got a 51, 26, 0, and a 166. So the color may change a few times, and I'll just be sure to re-update it as to whichever color we're currently going with. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue down through here. The one part on the bursts, we can actually have a quick burst to start with, so that when it does start, we can say that it's going to burst with 1 at the very beginning. inside of our shapes, we've turned it off because remember, if we have shapes on, you're going to get an effect like this. If you have the shapes off, you'll keep a nice center, especially if there's no other movement happening to it. Go down to the color over lifetime and check the box for this one. The color over lifetime option for here, I'm just going to go ahead and take the far right one, this one right here. Let's take the alpha down to 0 on it. And then somewhere almost at half, maybe not, we'll go for about we'll say about 40. Around 40, I'm going to take the alpha and actually take it up. So I want the initial part that happens right in the center to be solid, but then right after that, as it starts to grow outward, is to start fading out this direction. Okay? Alright, so once you have that one, we'll do a size over lifetime. Size over lifetime on this one, if you click on the bar that's inside of there, you can click on that bottom curves line right here, and we just want to make a curve that's going to go from 0 all the way up to 1, and we'll do a hard line curve on it. Actually, if you click the little preset one down here at the bottom, you can click on that. You'll have a nice straight line going all the way through. So now we're going to have a little bit more of a nice pulsating outwards. So we have that fade, we have the solid, and then with a fade outward for it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and close this box. So let's go ahead and go down to our rotation, and our rotation over lifetime, we'll go ahead and do a constant with 2. We just want to say that we're going to rotate from one to the other. We'll say rotate from negative 45, and we'll go to positive 45. There we go. So we're starting to see some fun kind of effect to it here. We got kind of a nice hard center edge to it, and then we've got some a piece coming from the outside going around it like that. Alright, once you have that one, the other part, make sure on your sort mode, we didn't set this one, but make sure on the sort mode and renderer that you do by distance, just to make sure, because we're going to start putting the other ones with it. We want to make sure they're all kind of working together with it. Alright, so the last part, I'm going to go back up to my color. Now that we've kind of adjusted those elements, let's go back up to color here. And on the color side, let's see if we can brighten that center up again now. There we go. Somewhere around there. So our final color I would put somewhere around the 186, 95, and 1, and then 166. Alright, so that's something that when you work on ones like this, you're going to find yourself change the color, and then don't forget, if you adjust a value that's going to be affecting the alpha of it, then go back and adjust the color, and you're going to see a different type of effect with it. So we took the color, we did it a little bit brighter, added more of the white to it, and now all of a sudden we've got a little bit more of a kind of a flaming, like a flaming ball, a fireball for it. Alright, so that's going to be the first part of it. Let's go ahead and rename our particle system here. We'll call this one Fireball. Alright, so that's going to be the first piece in it. And then we'll add a couple other pieces just to give it a little bit more life and be able to make it kind of a fun, good weapon that a character could have or use, or something that could streak down from the skies.